Happy Saturday, and tonight we present the possibility of many sex jokes. As Chibi here
Hi.
continues her life from teenhood.
Yeah.
So you may notice a few squares that were not there in previous chapters. On the left side, you have the usual stats page, as well as high school experiences and dating experiences. On the right side, you see the hourglass, which only shows the age, followed by what I believe is job possibilities and adventure stories. Adventure stories are literally just where do we draw the line? It's always stop or continue. And I would imagine those harbor the possibilities of altering your stats pretty drastically. They progress your age in exchange from the regular chart, which you can still do. And again, when you reach a certain age, of which I forget, you move on to the next chapter after whatever's been done. So, with all of that having been said, let's see how we are doing. So we begin this stage at 13 years of age. Our body's still pretty badly ravaged from all the shit that's happened.
Including the burns that were not my fault. I was trying to be good.
Mm-hmm. Now the vocational sphere will start getting affected depending on how we proceed as far as work. Well, gentleness is 10 times what it used to be. Confidence and expressiveness are pretty high. And yeah,
We got
so
money.
we have money. A money amount that has not changed since the beginning of the game, but that also will change starting here.
Yeah.
So, we have five options. The main chart, high school, dating, jobs, and adventures. And at every turn, that's a decision you've got to make.
Great. Let's start.
Where at?
Where you are?
So you're saying the main chart?
Yeah, main chart. That's fine.
Okay. It's 10 minutes until the bell rings for gym. Mrs. Black, otherwise known as Orca, can be such a pain with her calisthenics. Orca? Oh my god.
Okay.
Everyone is going to the mall after school, and the last thing you want to do is sweat like a horse. No one will go near you. Imagine taking your shoes off in the shoe store and knocking out everyone in the place. Gross. This is going to take some quick thinking.
I think it's time to start rebelling. Creative! Try to avoid going to gym class.
Now your rebellion starts?
Well, yeah, teenager.
Estrogen, huh?
Bite me.
You think of several excuses, but illnesses and injuries seem to be the most likely ways to get out of going to gym class. You approach Mrs. Black with a look of false pain and woe that she has seen a million times before.
What's the matter with you?
She says menacingly. Okay, one of those is a viable excuse, but...
Number 2.
And we're going to take it. This whole thing is a dialogue.
So much for that. What's the matter with you, young lady? Don't you know that vigorous exercise is one of the best ways to get rid of those monthly cramps? Go over there and do 50 squat thrusts. You'll sweat the pain right out of you. That failed. Miserably.
Somehow I'm not entirely sure what she says is true. And it didn't help much. It hurt thoughtfulness.
Shit.
Okay, now what?
Continue on, I guess.
You're in one of your ultra cool moods. While cruising through the house, you bump your foot on a piece of furniture and you say,
Shit.
Your mother calls you in from the other room and she says,
Did you say what I thought you said? Oh, whatever. Too cool to care. Tell her what you did, and so what? So what?
She says. Her eyes seem to glow for a while, then she gets frighteningly calm, speaking in almost a whisper.
So what? I'll have you to remember that phrase when you ask me to drive you somewhere or buy you a new blouse or cook you dinner.
The list extends well into the twilight of the evening. That's gotta hurt familial. Oh, yeah.
Oops.
And,
Oh,
yeah, did you notice? You notice? I don't know if that might influence your decisions any, but...
Oh, that sucks. So we get to choose other charts now?
Yeah. On the left side and the right side, you see the cheerleading equipment. That's high school experiences.
Yeah.
Bottom left is dating. Middle right, I believe, is jobs. And bottom right is adventures.
Let's try high school. Oh.
You might have to be 14 before you get there.
Okay. Next.
Carry on.
Mm-hmm.
The family dog has been acting a little peculiar lately, and no one can figure out why. Some of your fellow family members suggest that he should be given away, or worse, put to sleep. Dad delivers an ultimatum. The dog must shape up or ship out. You are the only one in the house who can take the responsibility for getting him back into shape.
Okay, we've had the dog a while, so take on the responsibility, train the dog.
Yeah, that and rebellion shouldn't be taken out on the pets.
Exactly.
You spend every available minute keeping an eye on the dog, rewarding him for good behavior, and keeping him out of trouble. One day, when you return home from school, you smell what can only be the dog's, shit. And the smell is emanating from your parents' bedroom. You enter the bedroom to find the dog sleeping peacefully in the corner and a sculpture sitting squarely atop Dad's favorite pillow. Fortunately, no one is home. So how do we deal with this?
Try to wash the pillow.
Okay. Well, you scrape the sculpture off the pillow and throw it away outside the house. The pillow and the case are left with a large brown and smelly ring. After 3 machine washings, your mother keeps yelling,
What are you doing down there?
the smell comes out of the pillowcase, but the stain's still there. Not only that, the pillow now weighs 30 pounds because it's waterlogged. It'll never be dry by the time your dad gets home. So now what?
Tell Dad the story.
Your father becomes furious, and, I knew it! That mangy animal has made me miserable for the absolute last time! The following week, the dog is given to Uncle Fred.
Oh.
Best laid intentions, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next.
A few people got a little wild playing spin the bottle at a friend's house yesterday. As a result, your neck looks like it was stung by a pack of wild hornets. As you walk out of the bathroom, Mom inquires about the curious-looking marks.
Crafty, give an excuse.
And they misspelled embarrassed.
Yes, I did.
You must really think your mom was born yesterday. When she was your age, she once got quite a hickey. From your father. Whatever excuse you think of only makes her feel angry that you would take her for such a fool.
Ouch.
An argument ensues, and you get a boring lecture about the potential dangers of the dreaded hickey.
It can create a blood clot that can go to your brain and kill you, blah, blah, blah.
Even though it happens to be true, you probably don't pay much attention to it, do you?
Nope. How did that affect the stats, I wonder?
Familial somehow has gone up. I really don't know how.
Neither do I.
Happiness has taken a deep shit. Somehow thoughtfulness is up.
Somehow. What?
Yeah, money's going down at this stage.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't. Okay. Next.
You're at the drugstore purchasing some feminine articles. You're about to bring them up to the cash register when you notice that Mike Barty is the cashier. I believe he was on a previous story, but I forget exactly what the context was.
I think so too. Oh dear.
Do you have the tits for it? Also, they spelled embarrassed correctly here.
I know.
Very strange.
Can you do embarrassed and bring them up to the register?
Your face is blushing a scarlet red. Mike sees you and gives you a big hello. While he's packing your stuff, he throws in 2 packs of gum from behind the register and smiles. He didn't even seem to pay attention to what he was ringing up.
Okay.
The next day in school, Ron Johnson walks by you in the hall and whispers, "Hey, it's that irritable time of month, isn't it?" Sometimes guys can be such morons. So you know what happened here, right?
Jeez.
Yeah. Mike was paying plenty of attention and decided to be an absolute prick.
No kidding.
Holy Lord, look at all this social. But then again, it's high school season, right? So what do we expect?
Here we go.
Do we begin with it?
Yep.
Okay. You and your friends have all gone to the shore for a beach party. It's late at night, and one of your friends has the suggestion, "Let's go skinny dipping."
Whatever. Uninhibited. Take your clothes off.
There you are, stark naked, when you realize that everyone else has dicked out and left his or her clothes on. How do you feel?
Losers. Unashamed. Continue.
Okay. You're not going to let them get the better of you, even though some of the guys are really getting their jollies. You put your clothes back on and sit down.
I do wonder what the stats went for that.
Confidence went up. A little.
Yeah.
Calmness went down. Yeah.
Alright, the dead end one first.
Okay. Oh, this one or, well, yeah, there's 2 of them.
Well, the lower one.
Okay. You're on the school bus on a class field trip, getting cozy with your newest beau.
Amorous but indiscreet. Just cuddle.
You call that cuddling? Your friends think you're gross.
Well, that worked out well. Not. Far, yeah.
Mei Li is a new Chinese student who can barely speak English. She appears awkward, is not aware of modern styles of dress, and is a bit clumsy. Everyone in school has begun to make fun of her.
Sympathetic, try to make friends.
You approach her and, with tremendous difficulty, try to make conversation. She seems very shy and self-conscious about her communication difficulties. Your friends think you're stupid for wasting your time with her. It seems hopeless that the 2 of you will ever be able to understand one another. So, do we let that stop us?
No, keep trying.
All right. Months pass, and May begins to learn English very quickly. Just think how long it would have taken you to learn Chinese the other way around. As soon as she is able to express herself, she tells you she appreciates your sympathy and friendship. You've made a lifelong friend.
Woohoo!
So, for all your supposed rebellion, you have a heart after all.
Next.
A couple of your friends have convinced someone to purchase a bottle of very cheap wine. They're excited about the idea of getting drunk, and you're in the basement of a friend's house. Now see, that for me is the gaming parlor setting, not the drink setting.
Excited, share the wine.
There's one 12-ounce bottle of wine to be distributed among 15 girls, and you take a few sips. How do you feel?
Perfectly normal.
Well, of course you feel perfectly normal. Not even a young child could get tipsy on 2 sips of wine. But a kid like you can get caught drinking when Marissa's mother spies on you and reports back to your mother. That's a month's grounding for you.
Alright, dead end again.
Tara, a foreign friend from Jamaica, asks you over to her house for dinner. Your first course is an interesting-looking kind of soup. You take a sip, find it delicious, and inquire...
What kind of soup is this?
And Tara's mother replies with a proud smile on her face.
Turtle soup.
Hey, listen. It tastes good, and meat is meat.
Open. Try to eat all the soup.
Sure.
Why not?
Your willingness to experience new things is remarkable. Besides, those little pieces of meat taste just like chicken. Your adventurousness delights Tara's mom, who shows you pictures of her island and tells you about its people and customs. Intellectual sphere rises.
Woohoo!
Ooh, that's an increase.
Yep.
Confidence is up. Oh my god! What? Please, somebody clear up for me. How the fuck?
I would screenshot that.
But
I would screenshot that.
why? Pardon me a second here, folks. I need to take care of something here.
I guess I shocked him.
Oh my god. But seriously, look. We saw how this started, and we saw where that was.
10%. It went up 63%.
Oh my god, but for what? The turtle soup or for the...
Probably the friendship, to be honest.
Yeah, but 63%? That's a
probably
jump.
probably a little bit for both then.
Jesus. All right. So now what?
Next.
You're listening to the radio, and you hear that the guest disc jockey is... Get ready, because you will absolutely drop dead from the shock, which is more than one human can possibly bear. Atom bomb. Oh. God damn it. Of the famous atom bomb and the nuclear wastes.
Ouch.
The show is accepting call-in questions and comments. The callers can win autographed albums, money, and expensive prizes.
Interested? Call the show.
Busy signal.
Keep calling.
Nope.
Keep calling.
You are greeted by the voice of the regular disc jockey who says, "Hi, how are you today? We're here with Atom Bomb. Do you want to ask him a question, or do you want to have a crack at one of our valuable prizes?"
Huh.
Tough
Try for a prize.
Tough decision, ain't it?
Yeah.
Get ready for the question. Here it comes. What album contains Adam's hit song, "Belchin' It Out for Love"?
Shit.
I mean, I know what my guess would be, but...
World War III?
I don't think that would be it.
Oh, shit.
Oh, it is.
Whoa!
I would have said indigestion because of the belching. All right. You are absolutely correct. The station would like to give you a copy of Adam's newest album and 2 free tickets with backstage passes to his next concert. Adam himself tells you goodbye and says that he can't wait to meet you at the show. Could you scream?
I did.
Yes, you did.
Cool.
Go on.
Yes.
A group of kids you hardly know have just made fun of you. Usually this might not bother you, but lately you've been feeling down in the dumps about a lot of things. Your physical appearance has been disappointing you, your family's been giving you a hard time about almost everything, and no one seems to be saying or doing anything positive towards you. You got a bad case of the blues. And I think you can tell by the moods here where this could potentially go.
Depressed, sad. Alright. Now talk to someone or get drunk or stoned. We're gonna go with talk to someone, because last time we tried to get drunk, we got friggin' grounded for a month.
So, who do you want to talk to?
Someone in your family? Hope it's not mom or dad.
Your family tries to help, but they give you too much direct advice. They say you need to go out more, find new friends. And mom says,
You take life too seriously. Try to look on the bright side of things.
this makes you so angry you forget your depression. Well, at least they cared enough to try to help. And also, I'm pretty sure mom has completely contradicted her entire system of parenting with that one sentence.
Yeah.
Also, what was it you said that the last time you got drunk, you got yourself grounded?
Yeah.
Well, if you had gotten yourself drunk this time, and I'm sure nobody's watching to hear this, you would have ended up very much dead.
Oh. Okay.
All right.
Next.
Oh, is that so?
Is there anything available in high school?
Well, let's find out. I'm going to suggest no because you're still only 13. Yeah.
Okay. Not that square. Next.
So you want to skip it?
Well, I can't play it, so yeah.
But there's a way that you can play it.
Mm.
You still don't want to do it?
We can see what's there. I don't know if anything is.
Like as far as how to access...
Relationship, yeah.
Well, there's not.
Well, I don't...
But remember, there's a dating square now new to this chapter.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that's what I said. I don't know if there's anything in that.
Oh, you want to try it?
Yeah, I know.
Well, here's how it starts. You have these choices. There's only one thing you can really do right now.
Meet someone.
Where?
Outside of school, away from home.
Which of these guys?
John, Jim, Mark, Peter, Brian, Jeff, Josh, Frank. Josh.
You want Josh?
Why not?
Well, here are his characteristics.
Not very trustworthy, but very gentle. Not very calm, moderately happy and confident, and moderately good looking.
After talking with one another for a while and giving each other time to get a good first impression, you talk about going out. The big moment comes when he finally asks you out for a date, and you accept. So here's...
Unattached.
Well, technically, I believe that still means going out with, so you should be able to, unless it has to be a steady.
Oh,
Okay, so yeah. So here's what that is. You're at a New Year's Eve party with the guy you're seeing, your best friend, and her date. Everyone seems to be caught up in the spirit of the holiday. When midnight strikes, you give your boyfriend a nice big hug and a kiss, then turn around to wish some of your friends a Happy New Year. When you turn around again, you see something that you probably could have expected given his trustworthiness stat. So your best friend and your boyfriend are, yeah.
angry
Who do we tell off?
girlfriend.
They both look at you as if you have two heads. Maybe you were overreacting. Later on that evening, you see him with his hand on her leg.
Okay, you know what? Back to dating. Break it off.
Even though you've chosen to break off this relationship, it will still have an impact on you personally. So let's see just what impact this may have had. Social's down from some event or another.
Yeah, but
Calmness is down. Gentleness is down. Happiness is down.
oh yeah, but
Cough.
happiness has gone up since. So
Hmm.
okay, that's fine. Next.
A friend of yours has told you that on the wall of one of the stalls in the boys' bathroom, Kirby Ross has written a poem about you and various sex acts that you are willing to perform.
Tell the principal.
The principal doesn't want to be bothered by you right now, but when you recite the poem, he turns very red. Kirby gets suspended for a week.
Worth.
Worth it.
Next.
A friend of yours at school has gotten pregnant and has decided to get married. The whole town is buzzing about it as if it were some awful scandal. Your mother's been gossiping about it night and day with her nosy friends. Every once in a while, she'll tell someone on the phone.
If that were my daughter, I'd lock her up until she was 25 before I ever let her out on a date again.
Your friend is frightened and embarrassed. One day you receive a phone call from her. She tells you that her boyfriend will be quitting high school and going to work full time. They'll be married in 3 weeks, and she wants to know whether you would consider being a bridesmaid at her wedding. What I love about this is the fact that this game came out in a very, very different time when things were very, very different. And the fact that we get to take it from a new age perspective, I think, adds certain excitement to it.
Oh, what the hell? Flat Earth agree.
And that would be the new age perspective.
Woohoo!
Your mother says she won't let you do it. The whole town is talking about the incident, and she will not condone it by letting you be a part of it.
Rebel time. Do it anyway.
Yep. Nah. Reminded of what Goku said to Gohan as he was blasting Perfect Cell. Now's your chance. You can hardly believe how unfair your mother is. As it turns out, the wedding is small but touching. Your friend is in her mother's wedding dress, which seems too large and much too long. As you watch her walk down the aisle, you couldn't possibly imagine trading places with her. The groom looks terrified. His father rests a strong hand on his shoulder throughout the ceremony. As you eye the people who are attending, you see some people crying tears of happiness and others shaking their heads and gossiping. Later in the day, you overhear a woman say,
If that were my daughter, I would die.
and 5 minutes later, the hypocrite bitch tells your friend's mother
How beautiful and mature.
her daughter looked. Sometimes adults seem so two-faced it can make you sick. No wonder you're so defiant.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Interesting.
There's a dead end down here, so we can cycle
Yeah, that
around if you
works.
want to continue on the main chart.
That works.
Okay. You are currently madly in love with a guy who's having a birthday next week. You're trying to think of what to get him. Since money is tight, and quite increasingly so, you really should be careful about what you'll buy.
Mixed feelings. Buy him something else.
You try to think of something to buy, but your mixed feelings prevent you from coming up with anything good. Eventually, the whole experience kind of makes you resent the guy.
Ouch.
That's an interesting cause and effect. Well, never mind all that. Now what?
Hold on. Next.
You have just been given the female lead role in the school play opposite Kurt Harris, voted hottest bod of the century by classmates. The role calls for a very heavy love scene. Unaware that you're within hearing distance, Kurt learns that you're his female lead and blurts out, "I can't kiss her. I'll puke."
Unflappable. The show must go on.
Your guts may be turning, but outside you stay cool, calm, and collected. You're confident, but rejection is hard to take at your age, no matter how well adjusted you are. After the first rehearsal, Kurt starts to put the moves on you. Looks like you weren't so disgusting after all.
I love the two opposite.
So do we take the Brock Sampson lifestyle, or...
Oh, what the hell? Fly into his arms.
That would be it. Fool. He spreads stories all around school about how easy you are.
Well, I know what happened to the stats there.
Social fell, intellect fell,
Ouch.
calmness fell further, I think.
But everything else is pretty high.
Why did happiness go up? And
don't
why is
know.
gentleness back up?
I don't know. This is great.
Is this a commentary on how the female period works?
Shut up. Next.
Early in the evening, a friend's mother appears mysteriously at the door and asks to speak to your mother. From another room, you hear the woman say that you've been a bad influence on her daughter and that your mother should try harder to,
Raise you the right way.
Her complaints, by the way, are totally unjustified. First, you barely know your daughter, and you barely know her daughter. Ooh. And second, she is the biggest tramp in town, without your help or anyone else's.
Calm. Wait until she leaves, and then have a talk with Mom.
You're confident that this woman is not being totally accurate. You guess that your mother won't believe a word of what she's saying. Naturally, she doesn't, and you chose the most mature set of responses.
Woohoo! Continue.
Right before you go out on a big date, you lean your hand against the wall and... snap! You break a fingernail. There is a tube of Lock Bond glue in the drawer. Lock Bond glue all in the drawer.
Nope. File the nail down and forget it.
So not self-conscious.
No.
You're not going to let a little nail ruin your whole evening. That's a great attitude. Your date comments on how beautiful you are and doesn't even notice.
No glue on the nails. Nope. Next. Actually, can we do a job? Oh, well.
After this, sure. Your dad's boss thinks that you are a fine-looking... Oh, boy. Your dad's boss thinks that you are a fine-looking woman. He would be honored if you would consider attending the company dinner with his son, Matt.
Interested, accept the invitation.
Okay. This was a very open-minded set of choices. You arrive at the country club waiting to meet Dad's boss's son. All of a sudden, this movie star walks up to you. Your eyes glaze. Your mouth gets dry, and you must concentrate very hard to prevent your tongue dropping from out of your mouth. Could this chicken nugger be Matt?
You're so weird.
Nah, some guy who works there parking cars. Matt arrives complete with braces, freckles, and a squeaky laugh. As the night goes on, you find out it's not so bad. Dad gets a raise the following week. Now, about the company picnic next month. Okay, so you say...
I do want to see stats for that first. Not bad.
Social increased again.
Yep.
Confidence is up to what I would perceive as the max.
Yeah, but we also thought 3% was the lowest.
Yes, we did.
We learned that's not true.
Things have spun a bit now. Trustworthiness is still pretty bad, and calmness as well.
Continue.
Everything else somehow...
Ouch. Can we do a job?
I believe that's what this tab does. If I am wrong, I will find out right now along with everybody else. Okay, too young for that.
Reason why I was asking because I got 20 bucks left.
Yeah.
Next.
Your mother has been out all day and has just phoned to tell you that she's stuck with the car. She sounds exhausted. Dinner hasn't even been started yet, and the house will be filling with people any minute. It looks like it's going to be a zoo. You're supposed to go out with your friends. The best place to be after she gets home would be miles away.
Sympathetic. Make dinner.
You're not much of a rebel, are you? Family, social, and emotional characteristics take a healthy jump. So what would you like to prepare? You look through the cookbook and you find...
Hamburgers and french fries.
It would certainly be... Well, actually, no. Chicken cordon bleu is really fucking good, too.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about how easy they are.
Yeah? Quick and easy. It satisfies all the hungry beasts in the house and doesn't take much time. You still go out with your friends, and Mom slips you $10 for spending money and gives you a big kiss. Terrific.
Woohoo!
$10 for all that effort?
I know that sucks. But hey, money!
Yeah. Your dad decides he wants to have a long talk with you about college. In his talk, he advises you to do all the things you think you would like to do least. He's pushing hard for you to attend a college very close to home. In the middle of everything, he says, "Oh my Lord. Remember what I said. Different time. Very different time. You know, sweetheart, I don't know how necessary a college education is for women anyway." You get the distinct sense that he already has planned out the next 8 years of your life. And also, let's start with how would that be received today, anywhere?
Today?
Mm-hmm.
Angry? Disagree.
Right. Now, what do you suppose it would have been then? Back in a time when...
And listen quietly.
Mm-hmm. This is back in a time when women didn't get the same respect as men did. That didn't really start happening until like late 90s, early 2000s. And obviously with the movements going on in this decade, times have changed big time. So you say angry and disagree?
Yep.
It is clear that the goals he wants for you and your own goals may not be in agreement right now. Perhaps he's being overly pushy. A direct, angry confrontation with him right now puts him on the offensive. The conversation ends when he says, "Wait, what?" Now hold on. Back up the fucking truck a minute here. He was just backpedaling
Saying
on the
no.
idea of going to college.
And now suddenly, yeah, you can go.
You'll go, and you'll thank me for it someday. To which you say,
That's what you think. I'll do what I want.
"Oh my, what
Uh-oh.
what a circle we have here. How big is it? Okay, so the loop goes about there. Well, it seems like where I'm parked right now is a fine place to start.
Yep.
And we'll go counter.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll do this. Are we going to stick to the main...
Yes, we are.
Okay. A cousin of yours asks if you'd like to inherit her wig collection.
Why not?
So you say...
Accept.
Interested, accept?
Yep.
The wigs look kind of funky, but you begin wearing them as a joke. Because you have good social skills, your friends see you and think you're up on some new fad. So everyone begins wearing old wigs. You start calling yourselves the Dead Possums.
Okay.
Oh, so now you're a trendsetter.
Apparently. Next.
One of the older kids in school takes you aside and offers you a quick way to make money by dealing drugs. Nothing too heavy or dangerous, according to him. Drugs. All you would have to do is sell some pot and a few lewds. Drugs. No one will ever suspect a girl. Drugs.
Not interested. Don't do it.
He tells you that you've just passed up the opportunity to get arrested. Make some easy money. So he gets caught dealing 3 weeks later, but nothing much happens to him. 3 months after that, you read that he was jailed in South America during a drug-related incident. Jesus, he took it global pretty quick, didn't he?
Yep.
Well, sucks to be him.
Next.
You're annoyed because your father doesn't seem to be paying attention to what you say these days. You would appreciate it if he would treat you more like a person. And while you're trying to explain this to him, he begins correcting your grammar.
Oh, jeez.
We've been down this road here, haven't we? Now, remember last time.
Shut up. Assertive. You know, Dad, this is a perfect example. I'm trying to express myself, and you're getting on my case because of my English.
Your dad is taken aback by your assertiveness and forced to examine his own behavior. He realizes that he's been unfair to you and apologizes. The two of you gain a mutual respect for one another.
Woohoo! Next.
Yeah. Your mother calls you in for a talk about something she says is...
very, very important.
She thinks that it might be a good idea or a good time to go for a checkup with a gynecologist, a doctor who specializes in women's studies. I have many questions that should probably be answered before going for such an exam.
Oh.
For example, is this a man or a woman? And what's his history? What's his background? But in any event,
Again, what the hell, comfortable, go for an exam.
on the way over, Mom explains to you...
It's a little embarrassing at first, but he really is a gentle doctor.
You dwell for a moment on the word he and realize that a man is going to see and mess around with all of your most intimate parts.
What? So yeah, change your mind and tell her you don't want to see a man doctor.
Oh, so you don't want to get it where you can?
Shut up.
She tells you...
Don't worry, he's fine. Besides, you've already met him. He helped deliver you.
That's even worse. I mean, good to know that there's some family history here, but... Damn.
She's not going to change her mind, so might as well go.
So, give up?
Yeah.
The gynecologist is a very sweet old man. Most of the time you spend naked is with a nurse who helps you prepare for the exam. The doctor is kind enough to warm up the instruments before he examines you. Bye. So when the examination begins, he shows you various different parts of your reproductive system and teaches you how to give yourself a breast examination, which he says is very important. He asks your mother if she would be kind enough to leave the room. When she does, he asks you whether you're sexually active and if you're using birth control. He then asks if you would like a little more information about birth control. The wording! The wording!
You know what? Just for that, get more information.
Can't say no. Did you want me to say that?
Whatever.
When the two of you are alone, the doctor... When the two of you are alone... my God. The doctor gives you the facts on both male and female birth control methods and tells you to call him if you would like to talk to him more about it. You probably don't realize it now, but he happens to be an excellent doctor.
See, nothing to worry about.
Pray for me. Never mind.
Next.
A close friend of yours has taken on a very peculiar habit lately. After every meal, she runs into the bathroom and throws up so that she doesn't have to worry about her weight. She doesn't seem to think there's anything weird about it, and she's losing weight rapidly. So, in a word...
Anorexic.
No. Other way.
Oh,
Bulimic.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, anorexic wouldn't have throwing up. Anorexic would be just don't eat. But in any event, we have some idea what's going on here, so...
Concerned, try to help her out.
She denies having any problem, much like most mentally ill would.
Insists that she does.
She gets angry at you and calls you names.
Keep insisting.
Your concern for your friend is admirable. It shows that you are sensitive to the amount of danger that she is in. Unfortunately, there's no way to help people like this. If she ever chooses to get straightened out, it's going to have to come from within. It's true, though. Even today, 30 years after this game came out, it's absolutely true.
Next.
On the back of an old matchbook cover, you see an offer which promises you the possibility of a free scholarship if you can draw Winnie, a cartoon figure on the inside flap.
Interested. Draw Winnie.
Gee, I wonder how much copyright infringement was put into this. Your picture is returned with an offer to enroll in a home study course sponsored by the International Institute of Constructive Creative Painting and Art. Tuition is, of course, waived because you qualify for a full scholarship. There is a $499.99, plus state sales tax where applicable, fee for tools and materials. Are you interested in purchasing these?
Nope.
You really had me worried for a minute. Your tools and materials would have consisted of nothing more than a fancy box of crayons and some drawing pads. Sounds like a scam to me.
Yep. Next.
Your best friend has asked to borrow an outfit that you like a lot and really look good in.
Generous lend to her.
Again, I question your rebellious claims.
What?
I'm just saying. She thanks you for it and tells you...
You're a true blue friend.
That night, when you run into her, she's wearing it. You can't believe how good it looks on her. As a matter of fact, you could never get it to look that good on you in a billion years.
Whatever. Sincerely give her a compliment.
Your gentleness characteristic shows that you can be kind and sincere, even when you are feeling a bit envious. Oh, at the beginning of this chapter, that was not so.
Nope.
That was not so at any point in your life, now was it?
Nope.
She appreciates the compliment. Now, when she does return it,
Keep it.
tell her to keep it.
Yep.
She says,
Sorry, I was just reading that. I would love to, but to tell you the truth, I really didn't like the way it looked on me. You really look special in it.
The tone in her voice says that she really means it. What a friend.
Okay.
Hmm.
Next.
Yeah, that was the kind way to go about it. All your friends are skipping class, and they want you to as well.
Interesting. Skip class.
Sure. Well, your status on the trustworthiness characteristic suggests that you're not the type of person who does this sort of thing frequently. As a result, you experience no negative emotional consequences except for a slight calmness decrease. I mean, since you are so trustworthy, an action like this is bound to make you a little nervous about getting caught.
Wow. That could have ended weirdly. If
How trustworthy are we for that to...
Excellent! I told you I had a method! Folks, we have a slight pause as Alpha has removed his headset so that we can go scream in silence. Well, as we...
Now, obviously, that called for a mic drop.
Yes.
Whatever, I'll look back on this and hear what you said later. All right.
Just like you took your headset off to go scream.
Oh, I could scream if I wanted to, but that would kind of take some effect away right now. Sometimes silence is just that much more deafening.
Well, actually what I said was scream in silence. And then I realized that made absolutely no sense.
Jesus.
I swear, I am $11. Ooh, wow. Next.
Your parents have gone out for the night. You and two friends are sitting around with nothing much to do. So one of your friends, like any good teenager, asks,
What kind of booze do your parents have in the house?
Remember what happened the last time you drank?
Yeah, I got grounded from them.
And it wasn't even your family's alcohol.
I know. Hold on, I took off my glasses, my eyes were watering.
I bet. That was a moment. If I ever look back through these, I wonder how long my highlight reel would be.
Quite long.
Probably.
Anxious suggests to do something else.
You're afraid of getting caught. Your friends leave early as a result of boredom.
That's fine. Next. You were too young for this episode.
Well, they mark that in years, so we'll eventually get back to it.
So do the, well, you're on the social one, so go down one.
That's the one that we just tried.
No, you didn't. You did the social one.
Oh, did I?
See? Yep.
Oh, whoops. You're getting dressed one day and notice a small red mark on your lip. Could it be some kind of disease? You think about all the boys you've kissed in the past month and decide to kill anyone who's given you a terminal disease.
Anxious, go to the doctor.
Nothing to worry about. Just a cold sore.
Okay, so we can't do the social one unless we can do the social one. Yeah, still can't do
No,
the
sure
social
enough.
one.
I thought I was on the body highlight. Alright, so we need a job to do that one. And we are older from the last time we tried
let's try a job.
Okay.
Especially...
Well,
apply for a job.
only one thing we can do. What do we want to try and do?
Clerk in a drugstore?
You want to deal drugs.
Sure.
You feel bad about that last story, don't you?
Well, it's either that or ticket taker in a movie theater.
You have all the qualifications, but the position got filled by someone else. The only downside of that is every time you apply for one of those, it does cost time. But yeah. So
All
you
right.
said ticket taker?
Yep.
Hey,
Woohoo! Okay, now the job one.
in your own opinion, you have been doing a good job at work. Your boss, however, constantly complains about the pickiest things. He never tells you when you've done a good job, and when you do something wrong, he really lets you have it, even when you foul up on something easily correctable. To make matters worse, most of the mistakes you make are his fault. So now he's called you into his office for a discussion, which usually means you're going to get yelled at for something. Sometimes you think that having an affair with the office manager and being married to his own nagging wife is dragging him well, yeah, office politics ahoy, is driving him straight to the funny farm.
Um, I don't know what.
Think about your history.
I know. Unbothered, listen quietly.
Probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Your boss must be you must be trying to boss your tune.
Ah.
You must be trying to boss your tune out. He sees you're doing this and becomes infuriated. Gone. So how much money did we get out of that brief experience? Well, some.
Oh, okay.
Some.
Yeah, that's
Do we want to try and take our job back?
no.
Okay. We're still too young for that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're in a quiet, pensive mood, and your thoughts turn to the subject of religion. Your family's beliefs seem out of step with your own as you wonder about the nature of your existence. Would they understand you if you told them about the differences?
Nope. Not curious. Do not confront them.
Why?
Your family would never have a discussion with you.
Too bad. Independent thinking and questioning of values is an important part of adolescent growth. It looks
Oh.
like we may end the chart and have to go to other places.
Yeah.
Okay, so take our
Let's try for a job again.
Do we take back the one we just lost?
No, let's try the drugstore one again.
You got it.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
You notice someone stealing an extremely large amount of valuable property from work.
Concern, tell the boss.
The boss asks if you can prove what you're saying. Since you have no pictures or direct evidence, he tells you, "There's nothing I can do." This is one of those times when you think the whole world is completely insane. And sometimes, just sometimes, not like all the time, but just sometimes, it is.
Okay.
Oh well, at least we still have our job after this one, which is more than we could say for the last time around.
Yep. Hey, we got more money.
Oh, that's a jump.
Yep.
Okay.
Next.
While you're shopping in town one day, a woman who introduces herself as a photographer tells you that you are very beautiful and that she might be able to get some modeling work for you. She gives you her business card.
Uninterested, throw out the card.
I guess you feel a life of fame, fortune, and stardom just isn't for you.
For all I know, it was a scam!
Right. I don't know whether it was or it wasn't, but I'd certainly be leery.
Yeah.
Your best friend since grade school has been looking depressed and confused. She's usually a very happy-go-lucky person, so you can't understand what could possibly be wrong.
Sympathetic. Ask her what's wrong.
She tells you that nothing's wrong, but you can see in her face that she's deeply troubled.
Press her.
After much hesitation, she lowers her eyes and blurts out that she thinks she's homosexual. Which, again, in a running theme here back then, was a very different time for that. She's worried that if she tells any friends, they'll desert her and that she'll be laughed at. What are you feeling?
Accepting.
Mm-hmm. It's nice to see that you're willing to be supportive.
Offer support, but suggest she speaks to someone who knows more about it.
That's certainly the practical option.
Yep.
That was the most considerate thing you could have done for this young person. Taking on the responsibility of being the sole source of support for her might have made her overly dependent on you, which could have put a strain on your friendship. As a result of your suggestion, your friend learns how to deal with her homosexuality, and the two of you remain close friends. Cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Hey, we're recovering.
Yay!
After all these years.
Physical is up.
Everything aside from calmness is going up. Look at trustworthiness.
I know.
How does it feel knowing you're a good person?
Woohoo! Next.
You're shopping at a drugstore. It's almost closing time. The manager is letting the customers out one by one, keeping the door locked so that no one else can come in. You're in the rear of the store making a phone call. And suddenly, a man in line at the cash register pulls out a gun and announces a holdup. He looks drunk, the gun looks fake, but it's hard to be sure from where you are.
Brave, phone the police.
You move solely on instinct. You quietly and carefully dial the police and whisper into the receiver. The police are quick to arrive and he's easily subdued. You acted bravely.
Woohoo!
Well done. And for all you know, this could have been your place of employment.
I know.
Paul is one of your best friends. You've grown up together, to the point where the two of you used to take baths in the same tub as babies. You've seen a lot of each other, and have hung around together. You've never gone out together, but maybe it's better that way. No complications. But he's going out with a girl who treats him terribly. A total bitch. One night when you and a date and Paul and his date go out to the movies, Paul's date gets really sick. She doesn't really look that sick, but she just feels like giving everyone a hard time because she has a headache. Since she happens to live really close to your date's house and you practically live right next door to Paul, and all four of you are exhausted, it might be a good idea if you and Paul go home together, and Paul's bitchy date and your date drive home together.
Feeling sorry for Paul. So it's Paul's date that lives next to your date, or my date, whatever. Yeah, that option.
So yeah, basically, so you get time with a childhood friend.
Okay.
Kind of, that's basically what that is. Is that what you want to go with?
Sure.
Okay. You and Paul have a real heart-to-heart talk. During the talk, he confesses to being suckered into relationships with women who treat him like dirt. The two of you collapse on a chair together and continue talking, your shoulders pressed against each other. Paul sighs and mentions, "You know, the only girl I've ever been able to feel comfortable with is you. I don't understand why I can't find someone who is as pretty, smart, intelligent, and lovable. You must be one of a kind." There's dynamic, and then there's...
Yeah, go with the joke.
Go with
Yeah.
dynamic.
Yep.
Okay, say it.
And that's because I am one of a kind. Now get out of here and get some sleep.
A potentially romantic moment becomes light. I guess you wanted it that way. Paul goes home, and for a second you wonder...
What if? Yep.
Alright, so another... Well, we're close to 16, so we might be able to revisit after this next one.
Yep.
A group of friends are getting together for a toga party this Friday night.
Toga, 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 toga. Excited, go to the party!
I'm going to guess you like the Greek scene.
Woo!
You arrive at the party, stunningly draped in one of your mom's best bed sheets. On the table there is beer, wine, and hard liquor. Someone mentions that there are drugs available for sale from a person at the other end of the room. So, which would you prefer?
Nothing!
How wild do you want to get? Well, we're taking steps.
So, we have mildly wild, wild, extremely wild, and then maniacal.
Maniacal.
Maniacal, whatever. Wild!
Wild?
Yeah, why not?
Are you planning on trying to meet a guy at this party?
Sure, why not?
Well, for some reason, you become very uninhibited. You meet a similarly uninhibited guy and have an utterly uninhibited time. Oh, boy. The two of you fall asleep in the guy's car.
Okay.
Oh, my. Okay, we're 16 now. So let's see if we can do this. It's time for junior prom. You gonna attend?
Yeah.
With who? We still have Josh, I think.
No, broke up with him.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Let's go with I don't know if anyone will ask me.
The guys practically line up to ask you to be their prom date. Guys you've never seen before are scrambling for your attention. Your date looks foxy in a sexy black European cut tux. The events that transpire over the course of the evening include crowning.
Wow. Okay.
So you're king and queen, and I'm going to take a guess that this is senior prom, which would mean still too young. And with that being the end of the chart, we're going to have to go places.
High school?
High school? We're definitely
High
aged.
school.
We're definitely aged up there. Miss Andre, your French teacher, who everyone at school claims is a lessee, has asked for your help cleaning up her office after school today. She asks you in front of a group of your friends who begin to look at one another and make faces. Now what?
Tell her to help.
And actually do it?
Yep.
This makes you the subject of unbearable teasing. In her office, there is a picture of her husband and son, Jacques, who is a great-looking guy about your age. She explains that he goes to a private school, and you comment on how handsome he is. Miss Andre smiles and offers to invite you over so that you can meet him. Ooh la la.
Woohoo! Now try.
Well, it's not going to work until 17, I'm sure.
Oh, jeez. Hey, that's not a bad looking chart.
I am still utterly amazed.
And we got money. So what's the adventure one then? Let's try that.
Okay, so this one is basically going to be a story where the further you go, the more your stats tend to change in one direction or another, depending on how it goes. You can stop it at any time or continue at every step.
Okay.
You are at your first rock concert with your friends.
Continue.
Midway through the concert, someone passes you a joint and tells you it's okay to take some.
Nope.
Draw the line?
Yep.
Okay. I highly doubt anything consequential happened here. But it does pass time.
Yeah, it does.
Calmness still fell.
Ouch.
Call Satan. Hey, now what?
Relationship, I guess.
Well, we're gonna have to meet.
Yep.
Where at?
Near home?
Who?
Mark.
Wow, this boy is a completely ordinary average fellow.
Yeah, he is moderately everything. Okay.
Well, you meet him down the block and all that other stuff, and yeah, you are dating.
Okay. Now try? Or we...
Wallfly.
Oh, jeez. Um, adventure again, I guess?
You and a bunch of friends decide that it might be a good idea to get a permanent eyebrow tattoo.
Um, okay.
Are we going on with this?
We're going on.
You stop at the tattoo. You locate the tattoo shop. Looks pretty dark in there.
Okay. Continue.
The man who runs the place has an extremely large belly, smokes a cigar, and has alcohol on his breath.
Goodbye.
Draw the line. Calmness is down again. 5% this time.
High school?
It's time to pick your new locker assignment. How exciting.
Keep your old one.
Sure, why not? The person in the locker next to you has switched. Your new neighbor is a jock who sweats all over the floor and dents the lockers for fun. Well, no shit.
Great.
Lovely.
Should have grabbed a new one.
That's
Everything else went up.
I know, this is an amazing... It's an
We're not
amazing...
very gentle.
I know, this is an amazing... Oh no, we're gentle. We're just not very calm.
Oh, sorry. We're not very calm.
Still, the rest of the chart looks amazing.
I know.
Okay, now what?
Dating, I guess? I don't know. Go on a date.
Alright. I mean, this could have been expected.
I know.
You're with Mark, and the two of you are getting romantic. You're alone in his room with his parents out. Mark looks at you glassy-eyed and tells you... I think we should try it.
Oh, you didn't go with the nerd. You went with Duke Nukem, really?
Did you want me to go with the nerd?
No, I just thought you would.
Nah.
Let's kiss a little more first.
The two of you kiss, and Mark begins to move his hands all over your body. He's beginning to breathe heavy.
Let him continue.
The two of you begin to have sex. He is still very rough and inexperienced. He's not a sensitive lover. At least, not this time.
Okay, no.
Didn't seem to affect very much.
I don't know what else to do. Can we try it, or does it have to be 17?
We can always try it, but...
Oh my god.
If it's what I think it is, then yeah, it's going to have to be 17.
Adventure.
Mike Lewis is a guy who you have had a crush on for a very long time. A friend of his tells you that Mike told him that all he wants is to go out with you and be with you. But there's just one problem. Mike has a girlfriend, and you're seeing somebody.
Yeah, stop.
Draw the line right there.
Yep.
Great move. 5 months left.
Ah, jeez. So 5 more actions.
In theory.
High school?
Mr. Hummer, your math teacher, is a 26-year-old super hunk who puts any guy in the school to shame. One year, on a class trip to the beach, he wore a bikini The fuck? He wore a bikini bathing suit and you almost died. Every night before you go to bed, you can't help thinking about what it would be like to be with something like him. You are beginning to think you are having a sexual obsession.
Try to blot him completely out of your mind.
Every time you have a fantasy about him, you close your eyes and count to 20. One day in class, he walks over to you, bends down, and whispers into your ear that he'd like you to go away.
You look at him and blink your eyes in disbelief.
Ah.
Wake up!
Oh, too bad.
I was gonna say, what?
Obsession sucks, doesn't it? Your calmness goes down further, and you haven't actually passed any time.
Shit.
Don't worry, this will end eventually. These do run out at some point.
High school? Oh, no. High school again.
Mr. Harvey is a school guidance counselor who is kind and helpful to all his students. After 30 years of faithful service to the school, he's leaving, and your teacher requests a donation for a present. You gonna contribute?
Yep.
Sure. How generous. Any amount would work. How much do you want to donate?
$5.
Yeah. Hey, much appreciated.
Date.
Mark has just won an all-expenses-paid trip for two to a fantastic ski resort in Vermont. He has invited you to go along with him, but there's only one problem. Your parents absolutely refuse to allow you to take an overnight trip with anybody of the opposite sex. So, what you gonna do?
Sit down and try to have an adult's conversation.
I mean, considering our chart, I'd say we're a little bit better prepped than we might have been earlier in this phase.
Yep.
You've decided to confront them honestly. Your dad appreciates this, but at the same time, he answers you with the same honesty. He doesn't trust Mark alone in the same room as you and thinks the two of you will have sex. You mentioned that if you wanted to have sex, it would be much easier to go someplace closer to home, like a local motel. Well, I mean, you're not wrong. So you're proud of yourself for winning points in the logic department, and your dad says, very true, very true. Then gets a very sinister look on his face and continues, just about the only difference, young lady, is that if you did something like that close to home and I found out about it, I would not be inconvenienced by having to travel far to find you and beat your boyfriend to a pulp. Did I just give Dad multiple personalities?
Yep.
Trick I learned from LGR during his Laura Bow playthrough with Pushing Up Roses. Who, by the way, LGR has a far better Duke impression than I do. Anyway.
So close. Adventure?
You're out with your friends and neglect to keep track of time, and you're 3 hours past curfew.
Nope. I know where that's gonna end.
Yeah.
Grounded.
Yep.
Dude.
I know it's still sinking.
Oh yeah, I know, but the money went up.
Well, of course it went up. You're still working.
I know.
All right, what next?
Date again?
Date or take a step further, because remember, those are options.
Oh yeah, go study.
You guys make a handsome couple.
Woohoo.
And now your relationship status updates to reflect.
Yay.
So, now what?
Date? Or have an experience.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Even though your mother knows that you're currently dating someone, she candidly asks you if you've ever considered dating her friend's son, Egbert. Who in the fucking hell would name their son Egbert? Well, anyway, what do you think of that suggestion?
Apparently it's a very popular name.
Might have been then. I have never heard it today.
Thanks, but no thanks.
A very sensitive response. Are you always like this?
Yes!
I mean, nowadays, that might be true, but
Before?
over the entire course of your life, the answer is a big, fat,
No.
fucking resounding no. Well, you must really be very healthy.
Ooh, did my health go up?
Uh, family sure
No.
did.
Oh, that's nice.
Physical didn't. You've got 490 pluses now.
Yay! It won't be that way for long.
You don't think so?
Nope.
Alright, well, we're 1 month out.
Adventure?
Your friends decide to go eat a large meal at the diner and sneak out without paying.
No.
This seems like pure rebellion, this particular ride.
Yeah, I know confidence goes down. Or
Well,
calmness goes down.
it's been waning by 1% every story, it seems like.
Yeah.
Well, in any event, we're 17 now, which, what do you think this up here might be, given that age restriction?
Senior prom?
Sure.
Oh, what do you know? Am I going? Yes.
With who?
Someone I am currently dating, probably.
Remember,
Oh, wait,
though,
steady, that's right.
I was going to say, if you're thinking of Mark, remember, you stepped up.
Thank you.
Mark looks absolutely stunning in his white top hat, tails, and walking stick. That's fucking extravagant, even for prom.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. 2 years running.
Woohoo! You've just passed through adolescence!
I guess we had to get through the entire chart.
In this case.
Yeah. Family life can be very rough during adolescence. Even though your family expects you to take charge of your life, no one wants to let you have the freedom to do what you want. So judging by your progress through life so far, your family life has been quite good, all things considered. Family members can be pains, but no one seems to mind it when you overhaul your hair for 3 hours every morning in the bathroom.
Jeez!
Physically, you're still not very healthy. It's taken an incredibly long time to recover from childhood injury.
No kidding.
Socially, this phase of life does present its share of problems, most of which fall into the category of boys! Life must have been pretty simple before they showed up. Your social adjustment has been remarkable. You're developing a relationship with Mark, so you see how tricky things can get. Regarding your emotional development, you have become a remarkably trustworthy young woman. This trait is bound to take you far emotionally and vocationally. You're developing into the type of adult that people can confide in. Unfortunately, the burden that comes along with this characteristic is the tendency for people to tell you their problems. You become the strong shoulder that everybody cries on. The positive aspect of your adolescence is your ability to resist temptation and not give in to your impulses. I don't think that's the correct way to write into. Should be split. Anyway, since adolescence is a time for testing limits, this can get some people into some pretty dangerous situations. However, leading an excessively sheltered life can be boring. You seem to be enjoying most of what you do. Even though you experience the blues every once in a while, it's nice to see that you're not having a depressed, traumatized life. Even though the occasional... Yeah, that's correct. Occasional explosive outburst is common in most adolescents. You seem to have everything well under control. You seem to be sensitive and gentle. That's an incredible testament from the beginning of this chapter.
Yep.
You certainly have a good head on your shoulders. You're not only book smart, but you've also developed plenty of common sense. Well, now that your adolescence is almost over, it's time to be hurled out there into the abyss of the real world. I'll bet you didn't know everything that you did so far was part of the fake world. It's a great question, which I have not been able to answer, despite my 30 years of research into the feminine soul, is what does a woman want? So, we have skipped an entire 2 years of life.
Interesting.
We're up to 19 now. Now, the high school grid has been replaced with college. The age grid in the top right has been replaced with, I believe that's status of your possessions or purchases or something like that. I am actually not entirely sure what is on the bottom left.
Probably college? No, that's the
No,
bank.
college is... Well, okay, so top right might be... Top right's the bank.
No, I think...
Oh, you think bottom right's the bank?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, college is
Yeah,
where high
sorry.
school
I
used to
missed
be.
that part.
Jobs, marriage is down in the bottom right, and there's options to have a family after that. So we have two choices here. We can carry on with this for one more chapter, or we can switch to Sierra binging for a little while if you're still up for
Yeah, why
just
don't
chill
we
time.
switch?
Switch over?
Yeah, we'll do a chapter or whatever, an episode.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, so basically for those of you still listening at this point, the Sierra binge I'm talking about, I'm literally just watching through old Sierra games off screen and having Chibi with to enjoy them. So that's not going to be on stream. Don't even bother looking for it. But for all your Sierra needs, do check out the Sierra Chess channel. They've got a pretty comprehensive list of all the quest games, like your King's Quest, your Space Quest, what have you. So if you're interested in that, go check them out. And with that, this has been Alpha.
I'm Chibi.
And we will see you on the next show. Have an Alpha night.